Mr. President, I'll make a motion. We approve those minutes as submitted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those pass. Under projects, the Blue Fox one has already been taken care of, so we'll start with the 9th Street LPA.
Good morning.
If you push the button on the front of there,
Can you hear me now?
now you're on.
All right. My name's Jake Goodman. I'm here on behalf of the City of Lafayette presenting the 9th Street Drainage Report. I'm a consulting engineer for Butler, Fairman, and Seifert. To begin with, just wanted to give a brief overview of the project. So this project is the urbanization of the corridor South 9th Street between Twickenham Boulevard and Brick and Wood Drive. It'll include roadway widening, full-depth reconstruction of the roadway, as well as adding a center two-way left turn lane throughout and a intersection improvement at Ortman Lane. That'll be a mini roundabout there. Throughout the corridor, there will be pedestrian improvements, as well as adding curb and gutter and a full enclosed storm system as well. Just to highlight a few things within the drainage report, Tara pulled up the kind of overall drainage basin exhibit. The corridor is broke up into 3 different basins. There's 2 basins that discharge or will be discharging directly to the Elliott Ditch, and then there's a north basin as well that ultimately discharges to Durkee Creek and then to Wabash River. So with the road widening, there's increased impervious throughout. I believe it was approximately 2.8 acres of increased impervious. And early on in the project, it was determined that due to the limited amount of right-of-way, that oversized pipe detention was likely going to be the method to treat and store that water to control the discharge rate. The method that we ended up with was a series of orifice plates. The south system only ended up needing a single structure with an orifice plate there. The middle system, we have 4 structures with orifice plates, and then at the north system, there's a single structure with an orifice plate in that for that control. We analyzed the 10, the 50, and the 100-year storms, and in those found that there was no structure surcharging for any of those systems or any of those storms. And then as another BMP, we also are planning to include 2-foot sumps for inlets to try to cut down on the debris getting into those oversized pipes and detention to help keep the orifices clear. Also want to highlight just project, kind of the overall project timing. So this project is planned to be phased into 2 separate phases. The first phase is from Veterans Memorial up to Ortman Lane Roundabout, and then the second phase will be from the north leg of the roundabout up to Brick and Wood Drive. Part of the reason for that change was just to better utilize the available funds and maximize the federal match there. And then the first phase is planning to let in January of 2026, and then the second phase in February of 2027.
And Jake, I'm sorry, which one did you say was the first phase? Ortman to?
Veterans Memorial up to Ortman.
Okay, okay.
Yep,
so the bridge is part of the first phase?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And it will kind of split that middle system, so basin, I'm sorry, so basin 2 will be split in that first and second phase, but with it flowing downstream to the ditch, I thought that wouldn't be an issue. So, and with that, we'd just like to open it up to any questions or comments.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board?
No, sir.
Zach, any statements?
Just real quick, and I'll highlight that the two discharge, well, this is in the city, and it is a city project. The board's approving the discharge per our ordinance. They do meet the stormwater drainage ordinance. The two discharges are the Elliott and the Durkee's Run, and we are ready to recommend approval as stated on the December 6, 2024 construction approval memo.
Okay, thank you. Anyone from the audience want to comment about this project? Now, will entertain a motion?
Mr. President, I would move for the board granting construction approval per the Burke memo dated December 6th, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, under other business, we have a bond.
Yes, we have a maintenance bond number 1112823 in the amount of $20,833.20 for Barrington Woods. This is from Atlas Excavating. I'd recommend approval as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the bond. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. We have 3 petitions for encroachment.
Yes, first petition is for the Jesse Dickens County Regulated Drain number 91. This is for Tippecanoe fiber project. I'd recommend approval as presented.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this petition to encroach for number 91. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
Next is a petition to encroach on the J.B. Anderson regulated drain as a branch of the J.B. Anderson. Cody Quinlizik. This is for a pole barn. We have reviewed it, and I'd recommend approval as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to approve this petition for encroachment. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That passes.
Next is a petition for the John Hentz regulated drain number 1017. This is also Tippecanoe fiber project that's going underneath the county tile. Recommend approval as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to approve this petition for encroachment. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Okay, under other business, approval of drainage board meeting dates.
Yes, Tara has sent the meeting dates out. I know I've reviewed them. Mr. Eichelberger's reviewed them. I know I spoke to at least one or two of the board members, but if there's any questions, I'm happy to try to answer them. If not, recommend approval as presented.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve our drainage board meeting dates. They're shown. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Now, an MOU.
Yes, so as many of you may remember, we completed within the last couple of years the first phase of the Lower Elliott two-stage ditch project, which the limits of that project runs from VMP just north, Veterans Memorial Parkway just north of State Road 38, and then downstream or west and southwest underneath State Road 38, then on westward to basically the west boundary of Ivy Tech Community College. This next phase will start there at the approximately west boundary of the Ivy Tech campus, through the Ivy Tech campus to US 52. This MOU is the agreement between the Drainage Board / county and Ivy Tech Community College to cover costs in addition to the best, cheapest solution, which we're required to do by law, through their campus, particularly immediately starting on the east right-of-way line of US 52, going east or upstream on the Elliott regulated drain to the bridge on Ross Road. There will be a rather large retaining wall that will be constructed as part of this project. Ivy Tech has agreed to pay up to, but not exceeding, $460,000 for that project. So I would recommend approval as presented, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Mr. President, I move for approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this MOU between Ivy Tech and Tippecanoe County. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Nothing else.
That's all the business I have for today.
All right. Anything from the board?
Yes.
Yeah, so I have circulated to you, and I've given Tara a copy of an interagency agreement between the Board of Commissioners and the Drainage Board, and this is with respect to ARPA funds. So the Commissioners and the Council have approved an overall spending plan for ARPA funds. Of that, approximately $11.3 million has gone to the Regional Sewer District project. This primarily means the Buck Creek and Colburn wastewater treatment project that's been under design. ARPA regulations require that funds be obligated by December 31st, 2024. The obligation can be done in three primary ways. One, you can award contracts. Two, you can enter into a subrecipient agreement. And three, you can enter into an interagency agreement. This is the third one. So this interagency agreement provides that of that $11.3 million, it recognizes that the commissioners have obligated or will soon obligate about $1.1 million. They're paying for the design work and the lagoon site acquisition. This then obligates the remaining $10.19 million to the Drainage Board to manage. It's a little wonky just because that's the way the feds have given us to meet their goal of limiting the amount of ARPA projects out there and meeting our goal to have some flexibility with the project. So the $10.19 million gets placed with the department to spend, and it specifies in the scope of work that'll be for construction and additional design costs, easement and other land acquisition costs, permit fees, grants to the Regional Sewer District if there are funds, and that would be replacement revenue only. I guess I should mention that of the $10.19 million going to the Drainage Board, about $2.3 million is what they call revenue replacement. So I don't know, you guys know, and there's not a big audience here, but you got $10 million that is revenue replacement. It doesn't have as many federal procurement strings attached. You just have to follow the state law. The remainder, you have to go through federal procurement processes. So that's divided up into that, and the funding any operations of the Regional Sewer District probably wouldn't meet the federal ARPA guidelines, but it is something you could spend the revenue replacement piece on. And then part of this agreement recognizes that you're going to be seeking additional funds for this project, and depending on how much additional funds or if things come in under budget, it would also allow for grants in support of wastewater treatment in Tippecanoe County, and then we've had also grants in support of wastewater treatment and wastewater impacted stormwater in the Buck Creek Colburn project area. And so that's under the scope of work. It recognizes that it's not fully funded, so if some of these priorities have to fall off, that's acceptable. And I would recommend that the board today authorize the president to sign an agreement in substantially this form. It has to go in front of the commissioners as well, and if there needed to be some tweaking between now and then, that would allow the president of the Drainage Board to still sign off on it. So,
Okay. Thank you, Judge. Any questions from the board?
Mr. President, I would move that we authorize the President of the Board to sign this agreement in substantially the same form as Doug has outlined, and do that in such a way that it's ready prior to, or I guess it could be after our commissioners' meeting.
yeah, that either way is fine. In all events, you'll want to have it fully signed before December 31st.
Okay, so that's my motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this interagency agreement as presented to us. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That passes. All right, any other business needs to come before the Drainage Board? Public comment? No, we'll entertain that last motion.
Motion to